Hello, folks. If you can hear us and see us, welcome to a live pop culture, which is a show we do on Deprogrammed every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Central with myself, Keri Smith, and my co host, Mystery Chris, one of my best friends. And we just pick different topics in pop culture and we explore them. We recently did a two-part series on the rise and fall of MTV, which the second episode is not yet available on YouTube. They struck it down immediately, and we're still waiting to hear about the appeal. So you can watch the first episode, though. We also did recently an episode on the Titanic, since the Titanic was in the news again. And tonight, we're going to be delving into some conspiracy theories, some of which I think are maybe the wackiest, most out there conspiracy theories. Maybe you don't agree. Maybe these are some that you believe in. And we're going to go through them and see what the merits are. Maybe I'll be a believer in some of these by the end, actually. I don't know. My mind's
They're all
open.
they're all true, Keri. All of them.
They're all true. Maybe. Look, the past few years, that very popular meme that says, do you have any conspiracy theories to spare? All of mine came true.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of people are starting to question everything, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've seen this explosion in conspiracy theories in general, because a lot of people are realizing they're being lied to, and they start to seek out alternative sources that explain what's going on. And sometimes these are good sources, sometimes they're not. And so we have a bunch of links where we're just going to talk about a lot of it tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the problems with not being able to trust the media, which I don't at all, I don't think anyone should, is or any of I don't trust any authority anymore, really. Political parties, the media, um, guys, certainly not celebrities or entertainment people. It's so, but one of the downfalls of that is that you, like you said, start to seek out alternative sources. And sometimes if you find out you were wrong about something big, it might prejudice you. It might make you more inclined to think you're wrong about everything and that everything is equally valid. And so I would say just try and retain your skepticism, even if you were wrong about something big. That's what I try to do anyway. But I also have an open mind. And I think you'll see as we go through some of these, I don't know. My mind is open.
Well,
Don't
I
laugh at me.
separate. No, I'm not laughing at you.
Not kidding.
I'm not. I'm not doing it. No, I separate the conspiracies into like stuff that I firmly believe is true, that there's evidence behind, like CIA and DEA shipping in drugs to America, and then I separated the more wilder stuff once you start getting into like aliens and flat Earth and all this other stuff. And I may listen to some of the stuff I don't believe just for fun. Like I'm a huge fan of Coast to Coast AM, which I don't know if you've ever listened to
Yeah.
that program. I love that. But yeah, I just love conspiracies in general, whether true or false, because I just find it so fascinating.
Yeah, Coast to Coast. Why did that come up recently? I think it was because my husband and I watched that old Christopher Walken movie about aliens. Oh, what was it
Oh,
called? Remember I told you recently?
yeah.
It was based on this guy's book. This oh, what is that? Somebody in the chat remind me. I don't have a great memory anymore. Uh Christopher Walken alien movie. Sorry. Communion. Okay. So, and it was based on a book by someone who had been already an author and had written some horror novels that had been adapted into screenplays. But then he wrote this, that it was by Whitley Strieber. And he said it actually happened to him, this abduction. And then I was curious about this guy and looked him up. He's still around for a very long time. He had a show on Coast to Coast, Whitley Strieber. Some of you may be more familiar with him than I am. So anyway, that's why that came up recently. Of course he would be on Coast to Coast. Okay, so if it's your first time here, as I said, Wednesday nights are pop culture nights here at Deprogrammed. We hang out. It's a nighttime show. We have fun with my co-host, Mr. Chris, and we just jump into these different topics and talk about how they relate to culture and and then we play some games. And so that's what you're watching now. If you just tuned in, if you like the show, if you're a regular viewer and you want to help support us, you can do so at Subscribestar, Locals, Patreon, or here at YouTube, or you can hit like and you can share the videos. And I think that's it. Oh, I do have two quick announcements. If you're a regular viewer, Monday's episode, I was supposed to be joined by Kenny Xu. We were going to be talking about the recent Supreme Court decision overturning affirmative action, and I think rightly recognizing that it's just another word for racist discrimination. And Kenny's done a lot of work on that issue, and he also has a new book coming out called School of Woke, and he's amazing. So anyway, it didn't happen on Monday. There was a scheduling snafu. He couldn't make it. So that's going to happen this coming Monday, July 10th, and we're going to do it live, and he'll be there for the whole episode. So Monday, July 10th, please tune in for Kenny Xu. He's awesome, and apologies to everyone who was waiting to see him on Monday. Like we're at some point I was like, "Oh, I think we just need to end the show." We'll see what happened later. The other announcement is, as some of you know, my husband and I were on a road trip recently. Our van broke down in Colorado. This weekend, we have to go and get the van. So I won't be able to do a live Friday show. I apologize. I might be highlighting some of the older episodes on Friday, but that's why there won't be a live Friday one. I'm telling you now, because we're going to get the van. And if you pray, say a prayer for us that the van is fixed and we make it back safely in that van. And that's it. Thank you. Do you have any announcements?
No, I watched the Indiana Jones movie. This came out. It's pretty much what you expect, but I mean, no one should be surprised.
Wait a
After
minute.
the last one,
what do you mean? What we expect? What do you?
that is not good.
Oh,
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not good. I mean, it's better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. That was the last one that came out, the horrible one with the
really?
aliens or interdimensional beings, whatever garbage that was. I mean, there's no scene in this movie that is as bad as the one in the previous one where Shia LaBeouf is swinging from vines like Tarzan.
I remember
Hated
that.
that scene so much. I remember being so excited for that movie and then realizing within the first 10 minutes that I didn't actually want to see Harrison Ford back as Indiana Jones. Because he was old then. Now he's super old in this new one. It was like, who wants to watch 80-year-old Harrison Ford go around? People complaining that he's like cynical and stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's just playing himself.
So here's what I heard. You tell me how accurate this is. This is why I haven't watched it. I heard that they do bring back Harrison Ford, but they don't really let him do much, and they sort of make his character of Indiana Jones weak and feeble, and he has to.
But he is weak. I'm not gonna be mean, but he's 80-year-old man. I mean, what are people expecting? I mean, it'd be kind of silly if he's like beating up, 35-year-old dudes. I mean,
But
that's why I just had such a low bar for it. I'm like, this is stupid. It shouldn't have been made.
But doesn't he rely on his goddaughter? Isn't it a woman who's now in the role?
Yeah, you can tell they're positioning her to get her own series of stuff. And there are some moments when she was annoying. Other ones I didn't mind as much, but it's just a waste. It just shouldn't have been made. So, this thing should have only been a trilogy. Original 3 movies. Yeah, that's
just
it.
let it go.
Yes.
So why do you think a movie like Top Gun, which, they brought Tom Cruise back, they made another Top Gun, and it was really good. It was a fun movie. And from what I recall, it did really well at the box office as well. What makes that different from something like this?
It was well written. Okay. It dealt with something from his past, but they didn't make him this sorry sap who, felt responsible for, something that he wasn't actually responsible for. Tom Cruise, who is in the 60s, still looks young and can still pull off the part of this hotshot kind of Air Force pilot. And so it was just well written. And I actually liked Maverick better than the original Top Gun. Because the original Top Gun was just a movie that it's not really that good, but when you think about 80s aesthetic, you think about the Top Gun, sun setting and the jets flying off. That's just pure 80s.
Hmm.
And, I'll appreciate it for that. But as a story, it wasn't that interesting. But Maverick, I really like. But with this one, it's just they shouldn't have done it. Like I know this is blasphemy, but if they're going to make another Indiana Jones film, I'd rather them just do a clean reboot and recast rather than trying to continue on with either Harrison Ford or Phoebe Waller-Bridge, whatever her name is. I mean, that's just there's no point in trying to continue to capture what the original trilogy had. You just
Yeah.
can't. It was very much a product of its time, and
Like, don't continue it, just redo it.
yeah. So whatever.
Couple people in the chat agreeing with you. Oh, well, Top Gun 2 was better than the first movie. Easy, says Rasmix.
And that's one of the rare exceptions, because I always ask people, can you think about a sequel to a movie that's come out 10 or more years after the previous sequel? Can you think about one that was actually good? And that's one of the few ones, because most of the time, like say the Dumb and Dumber sequel, even if the Dumb and Dumber prequel, both those movies sucked. Those came out over 10 years later.
I can't really think of one where it's, I don't know, where it's better like that. It's very uncommon. There are people in the chat asking about this movie, by the way, and I think you are abreast of pop culture stuff.
Yeah,
a little bit more than I am. Don't say
you set me up, Keri.
I can't help it. This is the kind of juvenile humor I like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a child.
We all we do is like that's what they then said, folks. Sarah Oakley, she says, did anyone watch Sound of Freedom? And there are a few other people in the chat mentioning, I know Therese mentioned it. A lot of people have been mentioning that movie, Sound of Freedom. Have you seen that one? Are you familiar with it?
No, what is that?
Can we watch the trailer? Because I want to know.
I have no idea.
I've seen other, I think, tweets about it. I think Odin from Odin's.
And does it have anything with slavery, does it?
No. Here we go. Let's see.
How many pedophiles you got? 288. How many kids you found? It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale. How long have you been doing this? 12 years now. How many pedophiles you got? 288. How many kids you found?
Timoteo, por rescatar niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
So at this moment, she could be a block down the road, or she could be at Moscow, Bangkok, LA.
Are we getting in trouble for playing this whole trailer?
I have no idea.
I'm going to stop. It looks amazing. It looks like a real tearjerker as well. Like a movie with heavy themes. So...
Is that a Christian film studio that made it?
I think so. Therese probably knows more than me. Hey, Therese, she says from The Chosen, the same people that made The Chosen.
Gotcha.
Dark.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty heavy subject. I'm like,
well, speaking of dark, before we get into the main topic of the conspiracy theories, Anthony and I watched, there's a new docu-series out. I think it's on Netflix. maybe not. I can't remember what it's on. Anyway, it's called Jared from Subway. It's about
Oh
the Jared
yeah.
guy. Oh, like disgusting. I knew what he was convicted for, but I didn't know the extent of it. And I didn't know the extent of what his business partner and his foundation, that guy, Richard Taylor, I think was his name, and that guy's wife were doing and exploiting their own children and bestiality and all kinds of stuff. Like it gets really dark. And it made me start rethinking, I think Jared was convicted to 15 years for all of that. And that's not just for, I don't know what you can say on YouTube. I know there are rules and stuff. Anyway, he was convicted for all manner of disgusting things and not just digital, but also in real life doing things. And he got 15 years. And he appealed it. He said he only got 15 years because the judge had a prejudice against pedophiles. And I'm like, yeah, he said that. She was prejudiced against pedophiles. Yeah, that's called being normal, dude. Like, what? I'm sorry, this judge is prejudiced against murder. Yeah.
And so it begins.
Yeah. And it should have been more. 15, that's it. There were 14 victims. And
so gross.
14, and those are just the ones he was convicted for. Who knows how many others, and the ones abroad in Thailand and stuff. And that dude is getting out in 2029.
No.
I don't think he should. I started rethinking sentencing. I'm one of those people. My husband and I were talking. We don't exactly agree on what it should be, but I think it should be something. I mean, I'm cool with death penalty for that. Like, I don't think you can be rehabilitated. You do that to a kid, I don't really think we should keep you around as a society. What happens? Does our YouTube video come down now?
Keri getting hardcore.
Yeah.
But the biggest question, Keri, is will you ever eat a Subway sandwich again?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I have before I watched this docuseries last week on the road trip. We stopped somewhere. Actually, I was really happy because the guy, it was in an HEB or a grocery store. I can't remember which one. They had a Subway there. And the guy behind the counter really took pride in his job. He wasn't just, you could tell he loved it. I asked him they had these new sandwiches. I hadn't been there a long time. It's like, which one do you recommend? And he was all like, oh, well, I prefer this one. Or if you do this, and I would do he had tips at a nice restaurant on what you should get. He was great. I love that. It was a great experience. So
go eat a Subway. Brought to you by.
But yeah, not Mr. Yeah, that dude made millions off of Subway and off of his fake charity, the Jared Foundation, which he set up to work with kids about childhood obesity. It didn't actually, like a lot of these celebrities, they have these nonprofit orgs that they funnel all of their wages through, all of their speaking fees and stuff through, so they don't have to pay taxes on it. That's what he was doing. Like the Jared Foundation, he had pledged to give millions of dollars in grants to different schools, never gave any grants out. It was just, a way for him to, when he got paid for all these numerous speaking engagements, to have the checks written to his nonprofit, the Jared Foundation, and then there's no taxes. Just total scam. I think it was Bono. Look up Bono's One Foundation. He gives 1% to charity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, it's always U2 started out as a Christian band, and I remember reading something about Bono talking about how rock and roll corrupted them. He was like, "Yeah, sex, drugs, rock and roll." I bought into that, so now at least he's not anymore. So
at least he's not what?
Christian.
Bono.
Mm-hmm.
Pretending to be. Yeah. Yeah, that guy creeps me out too. Okay, enough of the creepy, gross stuff.
Let's talk about some other creepy, gross stuff.
Let's just get into the regular. Oh, one more last creepy, gross comment, because this is, wow, yes, what an astute observation. Wow, Rasmix, it's right. It's right. I think Brian Stelter and Jared Fogle have the same kind of smile.
That's so true.
Very fake smile.
Very, something telling there.
Doesn't mean they're hiding the same thing, but they're both the kind of smile that hides something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tonight, what are we talking about? What's our topic?
Talk about conspiracy theories, and particularly some of the wilder ones, because, I think most of us are familiar with the big ones like JFK and 9/11 and stuff. But we kind of want to talk about ones that aren't as well known or not talked about as frequently as the bigger ones.
Right. We're not going to get into those that are more well known, but just so it's known, I mean, I don't think the story that we know about Kennedy is in any way true. So,
No, clearly
yeah,
not.
that's one I definitely do hold. I hold
Mhm.
that conspiracy theory. I'm like, no, what? And how many years has it been and they haven't released the files of the American? Like, when do we
Mhm.
get to know? Never.
Imagine if RFK actually is able to get into the White House, and imagine what he releases regarding his father and his uncle's murders.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't know if anybody, even someone who was a relative, would do so. I
Really?
think I think they must have something on people when they get in that office.
Mm.
Like, I think they probably take you into a room. The outgoing president sits you down, the incoming president shows you a video and is like, and then turns it off and says, "Now, do you understand how this works and who owns you?" And you're like, "I guess I do." Like,
Yeah, see? The new boss in town.
right? Right? I don't know. I think something like that might happen. Who knows? The 3-letter agencies are in charge. And
Mhm.
anyway, and even the ones we don't know about.
Well, it's funny in researching this, it's finding a lot of the mainstream publications, and when in their list of like conspiracy theories, they always have like the most ridiculous ones, or like the ridiculous ones paired up with the ones that are actually like true. Like I've seen them like go from talking about like weird stuff, like I don't know, flat Earth, and then start talking about like, oh, there are people who believe there's a deep state. Oh, what loons. Oh, there's people who believe that globalization is a plan by the elites to form a global government. Crazy, right? Like, come on.
Those aren't crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is too, and they always they approach it in a partisan manner, so it's always right-wing conspiracies, even though left-wing people believe in conspiracies just as much as right-wing people do
Yes.
too. I mean,
So
white supremacy is holding back
yeah.
black people, racist white people, and men are oppressing women, and the oil companies are lying about contributing to climate change. I mean, come on.
They have their own, like, Russia colluded with Trump.
Yeah. I saw one that was like it said there's a conspiracy that says that Bill Gates is faking snow or something. I'm like, who believes that? No, it's Bill Gates is funding a company that's trying to block out the sun in order to solve climate change. That's a real thing.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you can look it up. I heard that. I was like, no, I'm looking it up. It's like, holy crap, this is real.
Okay. I know that's not on our list, so
Yeah, I feel like Alex Jones right now. Jamie, look it up, Jamie.
Oh my goodness, this is a Forbes article headline. A Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun.
Yeah,
What?
see?
What? This wasn't on our list, but hey, did anybody else know this? What could go wrong? It says. It's this article. Microsoft's billionaire founder Bill Gates is financially backing the development of sun dimming technology that would potentially reflect sunlight out of Earth's atmosphere, triggering a global cooling effect. What?
So what happened in the Matrix?
This sounds like something from a movie, you know,
I
where
know.
like the
Everything
evil.
sounded like in a movie since 2020. I'm like, what?
Yeah. This is from 2021 in Forbes. Go read it. Wow, who knew? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some people already knew. Sue says this is old news to me. I didn't know that, Sue. Blocking out the sun. Okay. So what's up first? What crazy what is one of the more out there conspiracy theories we are going to talk about?
Out there. Let's see. What do you want to talk about first? Because my stuff, I have
Well, I
alien
know
stuff. I got time travel stuff.
I know
Uh,
you did a lot on the aliens. Let's start with aliens, even though I personally don't think it's that out there anymore.
hmm.
Do you?
Yes. Well, I think it's interesting because that first article I have is about this whistleblower. I don't know if you've read about this guy who has recently gone public saying that the government is hiding the existence of aliens and that the government's in possession of alien spacecraft. And I'm super skeptical about all of this. It makes me wonder if the government's purposely pushing this guy, because I do believe there is a conspiracy to create fake conspiracies and to get people to bite on this stuff so they can try to demonize everybody. Because I know since I think really like 2020, the government's been releasing documents regarding unidentified craft, or I forget, the UAPs, what they call them now, not UFOs. But they've been bit by bit releasing the stuff. And now we have some whistleblower type guy who comes out saying that there is evidence for alien spacecraft and stuff. And so all of this just make me wondering, like, what is going on? Is this part of Project Bluebeam, which we'll talk about in a little bit? But part of me just starts to think like the government has to be like faking this for some reason, a distraction of some sort.
Right. I mean, I'm that kind of skeptical as well. When they start admitting to something, I'm like, this is out of character for them. Why are they admitting this? Uh, so I don't know. Should we read through some of this one
Yeah,
about
maybe
this
just like
guy?
the first handful of paragraphs.
Okay. So this is an article from The Guardian from June 6th, from about a month ago, June 6th of 2023. U.S. urged to reveal UFO evidence after claim that it has intact alien vehicles. And then the subheading is whistleblower, former intelligence official says government possesses intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin. And then they have an image here. This file video grab image shows part of an unclassified video taken by U.S. Navy pilots showing interactions with, quote, unidentified aerial phenomena, end quote. And they have this image here provided by Getty and the Department of Defense. Why is the Department of Defense letting us see this?
I trust them.
I don't know. Okay, so the U.S. has been urged to disclose evidence of UFOs after a whistleblower, former intelligence official, said the government has possession of, quote, intact and partially intact alien vehicles. The former intelligence official, David Grush, who led analysis of unexplained anomalous phenomenon within a U.S. Department of Defense agency, has alleged that the U.S. has craft of non-human origin. Information on these vehicles is being illegally withheld from Congress, Grush told the debrief. Grush said when he turned over classified information about the vehicles to Congress, he suffered retaliation from government officials. He left the government in April after a 14-year career in U.S. intelligence.
How come he's not like, I don't know, gone to another country where he's trying to seek asylum? Because that's typically what happens to whistleblowers. They're usually actually persecuted and not being held up by the media as
he's
being
giving
truth tellers.
interviews. I don't know what to make of that. Jonathan Gray, a current U.S. intelligence official at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, confirmed the existence of, quote, exotic materials to the debrief, adding, quote, we are not alone. So he's a current U.S. intelligence official at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center saying, yeah, we're not alone. And he's confirming they have exotic materials. The disclosures come after a swell of credible sightings and reports have received attention in alien ships and potentially visits in recent years. In 2021, the Pentagon released a report on UAP. The term is preferred to UFO by much of the extraterrestrial community.
What? By the aliens that are living in?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like.
How can we add that to the LGBTQ flag?
Yeah, just wait till they get sucked up into social justice and woke, like a marginalized extraterrestrial community. This term is the preferred pronoun of the the term is preferred. UAP is
I am a
preferred.
space migrant. I am not a legal alien.
I'm a space migrant. I am an unhoused space migrant citizen. I prefer this pronoun, UAP acronym. My preferred acronym. Okay, they say UAP is the preferred to UFO by much of the extraterrestrial community, which found more than 140 instances of UAP encounters that could not be explained. The report followed a leak of military footage that showed apparently inexplicable happenings in the sky, while Navy pilots testified that they had frequently had encounters with strange craft off the US coast. Why are they all talking about it now?
Yeah. I don't like it.
Because if you believe that the government's been hiding this stuff for decades, which I believe they have been, that would mean that someone decided there's some decision made to talk about it and to put it out there,
Right. They
or
can
put
benefit it for some reason.
part of it out there. Why?
Yeah.
I don't believe the government cares about us. It's like they deserve the truth.
And read this last paragraph, then you can stop.
Okay. In an interview with the debrief journalists Leslie Keene and Ralph Blumenthal, who previously exposed the existence of a secret Pentagon program that investigated UFOs, Grush said the U.S. government and defense contractors had been recovering fragments of non-human craft, and in some cases, entire craft, for decades. Quote, "We are not talking about prosaic origins or identities," Grush said. "The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles."
We're done. You can stop there.
Wow.
None of this has changed your mind.
Changed my mind what?
On the existence of aliens visiting Earth.
No, I mean, I already, before reading the article, believed there have been UFOs and things the government's hiding. Now I'm just wondering what I said. Why are they letting some of this information get out there to the media, these whistleblowers and stuff, and why are there like current intelligence officials, like the guy in the article, admitting and saying, yeah, we're not alone, we have recovered craft, and I don't know, that's weird, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're curious about the type of aliens that exist, if you could please pull up the type of aliens article I have here. And this just outlines 3 of the most common aliens, which there's a lot more according to the experts. Because if all of the alien experts I've listened to on Coast to Coast were correct, that would mean that there are hundreds of species that have visited Earth, which I don't think it's true. But I thought this was interesting how it outlines 3 most
Different.
common.
This is from a website called paranorms.com. Different types of alien races. You can see they have a little graphic here. They have humans, and then next to it they have, for comparison, I guess, they have Nordics, which look like very, very big, like giants. Then grays, and that seems to be the pop culture's most frequent representation of an alien, which are these little gray men with big cat eyes, big eyes. Littles.
It's not nice. They prefer little people.
Little tiny
Dwarves.
they look like people. Goblins. What? And shadows. Okay.
I don't know how that's alien, but okay.
Over the course of the last several decades, thousands of people have come forward with reports of UFO activity and abductions all over the world. Given that the Milky Way has over 250 billion stars, there are a lot of possibilities for different types of alien species. Some researchers have argued there might be as few as 36 alien societies. While it's impossible to know what's really out in the cosmos, we'll break down the most popular types of speculated aliens.
Yeah, you don't have to read every part of this, but just to kind of gloss over, looking at The very artistic
So,
rendering.
yeah, there's the goblins. They're the origin of the words, quote, little green men. They look significantly less like humans than other alien species. The original reports based out of Kentucky mentioned traits such as pointed ears and unusual skin tones and glowing eyes. The overwhelming majority of sightings of these little green men occurred in the 50s and 60s from locations that bordered woodland areas. Interestingly, the original sightings of the goblin type aliens started out being described as metallic in color, eventually morphing into little green men. The grays, these are the ones I think, at least most of the people our age who grew up with aliens being represented in pop culture, this was the most frequent type, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
They would
I think
depict
that's the
aliens
most,
like this, right?
yeah, movies and costumes. That's the one we've seen the most.
They're short, they're little, they're gray. Okay, gray extraterrestrials are far and away the most common type of alien species in claimed sightings since the 70s. Generally, they stand 4 feet tall with large heads and large almond-shaped eyes, which tend to be dark. They're described as spindly with a slim jawline. Facial features such as ears and nose are nondescript. Thin and, unremarkable lips. Doesn't appear to have any sex organs or differences between the sexes. So
Aw.
they're non-binary, guys. They're often frequently depicted as abducting people, performing medical examinations or experiments in a cold and clinical fashion.
Have there been any black people that have been abducted by aliens?
Did you not research that before we started?
There hasn't. I'm saying no,
I
because
think
aliens don't want to get shot.
I think there have been. We saw that video of the black people, the news report where they saw
The leprechaun?
the leprechaun.
That's different, Keri.
How is that different?
It's a leprechaun. They're magical creatures that totally exist.
Look at this. This is from my alma mater, from Duke. Hold on.
Oh.
This is a study called Starships and Slave Ships.
What? Where's
Yeah.
this going?
No, but you're gonna love what the first line I just read. Starships and slave ships, black ontology, and the UFO abduction phenomenon. Now scroll down and look what it says. Evidence suggests that the UFO alien abduction phenomenon is exclusively experienced by white people. In the United States. But while scholars have probed abductee narratives to surface political and symbolic anxieties for decades, none have thought of the phenomenon's whiteness alongside the archival absence of black abductees. Using abductee accounts, interdisciplinary studies of the UFO abduction phenomena, and critiques of black subjectivity, this article attends to the ontological anxieties that permeate UFO abduction narratives and their choreographic resonance with the psychosomatics of black life. Is this a woke? I think this is a woke alien article. Is it?
So is it saying that the aliens are racist? So I can draw that conclusion. Is that right?
Yeah. Look at the end. Okay, this article begins by examining the exceptional narrative of Barney Hill, America's first and thus far only popular black abductee. So there is one.
Oh, well, he needs
Barney
a
Hill.
movie.
He does need a movie.
We have the
Why don't we
Woman
know
King,
about
and then
him?
we'll have this guy. Great.
You'll have the what?
The Woman King, and then we'll have this guy in a video movie.
Why isn't there a movie about his story?
I don't
Okay.
know.
It says, then it brings into focus ufology's aphoretic negation of racial subjectivity and suggests that the UFO abduction phenomenon is posterior, I can't say that word, inaccessible to the black non-subject. Meaning, does that mean if they can't see themselves in it, they can't? Is that whole representation matters thing? You have to see yourself?
Why can't they just write normal?
Because they have to sound smarter than me. Finally, it returns to Hill's experience and offers speculative implications of a libidinal relationship between the starship's technics and the slave ship's terror. Okay. I want to read this later. We'll read this later.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. So we found a black person who's been abducted by aliens. This is progress. This be a very proud day for African Americans everywhere.
I
Aliens want to probe us too, Keri.
apparently LPJ says there is a movie with James Earl Jones about
Star
aliens.
Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Okay, just looking to see if I missed anything from the chat. You guys are funny. Okay, what's your next article?
Pull up this. This is a video, the Coast to Coast video. I don't know if you ever heard this, but this is allegedly some guy who is calling into Coast to Coast, said he worked for Area 51, and he's trying to spill some details about what's going on there, and he sounds like he's in a panic, and he says they're trying to get him. He doesn't have much time to talk, and then like the phone goes silent, and he's never heard from again. I might have to skip ahead a little bit because I think
It's a
Art Bell talks a
30-minute
little bit.
it's a
Yeah,
30-minute
just a
call.
little bit. Yeah, just skip a little.
To where like 2 minutes in?
Yeah.
I started getting.
What?
Well, this was certainly interesting. Knows about aliens are there. A former employee. I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
You can't spend a lot of time on the phone, so give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disaster.
Wait, he's saying that extraterrestrials have infiltrated the military?
Yeah.
Sounds like it, right?
Yeah. You believe this guy?
I don't know. Do you remember that old series where they were actually V, the original?
Yes.
They were like alien lizard people in the highest parts of government, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. People in the chat are divided. Don't do drugs, kids, says Robert. This guy is an actor, says Lily of the Fox Valley. Peyote, some people say. But Dan says he sounds scared, unless Dan's being sarcastic. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the reaction online, because much like the chat, there's a lot of people who are divided on this. Some people think it's fake. Some people think it's real. Maybe he thinks it's real, even though it might not be actually happening. Don't know. But I do think, personally, I think Area 51 doesn't have any UFO alien stuff there. And I actually think that the government wants people to think that. So people are distracted from other military bases where more top secret stuff goes on. And not talking about top secret stuff having to do with aliens. But if I were the government, I would want to distract people, to make people look someplace where my top secret stuff isn't actually happening, so I can continue that elsewhere, and people won't be purposely looking for that.
Right. So just have them. I see what you're saying. I mean, it's a shell game, right?
Yeah. Do you remember like a few years ago, there was some plan, some people on the internet were going to rush Area 51. The guard was like, if you try this, we're going to shoot you. People like, oh, they didn't do it, but
I don't
would have been
remember
funny.
that.
Yeah. There's a whole plan online. People would say, hey, let's all go rush into Area 51.
Because what if you got there and there's nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. But there are some feds undercover there. January 6th of Area 51.
What's this other video you sent me?
Oh, this is an alien.
What? Look, you just say it so casually. Oh,
yeah,
it's an alien.
So this one, this is this is the regular video, and then there's an inside edition that covers this video, but you can watch the regular undated. So It's an alien. Yeah.
What? It looks like Mac from Mac and Me.
It does.
Remember Mac and Me?
Yes, it's basically a 2-hour McDonald's commercial.
No, I don't. Is this a video people have seen? I've never seen
Yeah,
this.
this is a big one. So I don't forget how many years it came out, but millions of views. There, people think it's an alien. Other people think it's a kid wearing underwear on his head. Some people said that shadow you see at the beginning is a door closing.
What
And
shadow?
according to the owner, in the Inside Edition one, they interview the kid who keeps saying he's not, and they try to have him recreate it. But according to the owner, this video, I think it only records in like 10-second burst, and that's why it cuts off. Because my first thought is like, where's the rest? Why aren't you showing where that alien came from? I mean, certainly you must see it come up in the driveway, unless it materializes like right underneath where the camera is and then walks out for some reason. And two, where does it go?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I think we're so skeptical these days that you could capture something crazy that happened to you on camera, and you could be like, "Thank goodness I got it on camera so people believe me," and then you show it and everyone's like, "Nah."
Yeah, that's what sucks. I've been saying that. Like, if you capture a ghost or alien, Bigfoot, no one's gonna believe it. Like,
No one's
that's
gonna believe
fake.
you anymore. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Okay.
Pull up. You want to pull up the second one, the second driveway alien? This is another video of another alien. They're everywhere, Keri.
Does it look the same? Wait, is this the Inside Edition one, or you mean
Pull
after
up the
that?
one underneath that, unless
Okay.
you want to watch the Inside Edition one. But that already kind of covered what we just watched.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Culture Casino's here. Hello, sir. We're just looking at supposed alien videos. We don't know. We don't know what to make of it. Okay. Here, let's hit play on this one. Is this going to be a gotcha video that scares me?
No.
Is this a popular one that people send around?
Apparently, yeah.
What?
Yep.
I don't know.
Convinced yet, Keri? No.
It's a kid.
Yeah. That's what made me laugh about it. It's
Why?
obviously a kid who's just like
Well, that one,
dancing or drunk. Yeah.
that one looked a lot more like a kid
Yeah.
than the first
yeah,
one.
clearly.
But
But I just thought that was funny. You know, it's funny how like all these alien videos are always grainy. Why is that?
I don't know. Yeah, why don't they get it very clearly? I'm not sure. You haven't really revealed what you think about this yet. I mean, I know you think that it's fishy that the government is suddenly telling us or allowing whistleblowers to tell us and current intelligence officers to tell us that there are extraterrestrials, or the UFOs at least. I know you think that, but do you think there have been UFO sightings that are real?
I always say, like, in history of humankind, in the, I don't know, how many alien sightings you think of UFO sightings have occurred? You know, you say millions? I'm talking about all of human history. Probably millions.
Probably.
I would say at least one of those have to be something that's
real.
not from this earth.
Right.
That's my reasoning.
Do you believe in things we don't know how to explain yet?
Yeah, I think there are some weird things going out there that we just don't have understandings for yet. And yeah, I definitely think aliens exist, somewhere in the universe. The question is just whether they visited Earth. And I kind of lean that way, but I'm not like dedicated to that position saying, oh, yeah, they definitely visited. Anybody think so? It's crazy. I'm not like that.
Yeah, me either. I'm like you. I think some of this stuff is real. It just doesn't, I don't know. I'm not that passionate about uncovering it and proving it, and I think some people get really into that, that's their thing. By the way, just a tech question. Ryan says, is the video cutting out slightly or is it just you? We were having tech issues before we started. The whole chat got rebooted and Mr. Chris and I were having issues with each other's video feed lagging. If you guys notice anything like that, will you tell us? It seems like Ryan's noticing that, but I'm not sure.
So pull up the article underneath that. And here it's a conspiracy theory, but perhaps there's some truth to it. And maybe this is a reason for all of these alien stuff that's coming out now by the government.
Is this the Project Bluebeam thing?
Yeah. Have you heard of this?
No.
Oh. So this is all based on this guy. How do you pronounce Serge
Monast?
Yes. And so his theory is that the government is going to fake an alien invasion, that not just American governments around the world are going to do this as a way to get people to unite. And so this will be another way they can push us into some kind of global government. And they're going to form a new religion around this. And
what? Wait, let's read this.
Read it.
This is from a website called allthat'sinteresting.com. So they're explaining this, what you're just saying. It says, what is Project Bluebeam? According to Serge Monast, the 4-step project designed by NASA and the United Nations would allow these organizations to accomplish what he believed to be their ultimate goal of creating a new age religion led by the Antichrist in order to start a new world order dictatorship. NASA would implement Project Bluebeam, Monast believed, with a system of advanced mind control as well as top secret technology in order to trick everyone into believing there had been a second coming of sorts. But first, step 1 of Project Bluebeam would involve the manufacture of artificially created earthquakes in strategic locations around the world. These earthquakes would, according to the conspirators' hoaxes, unearth artifacts indicating that the religious doctrines of all nations have been misunderstood for centuries, thus discrediting all religions. Monast claimed that movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey had already laid the psychological groundwork for this step by presenting stories in which mysterious unearthed objects upend everything humans know about themselves and their world. The second step, he claimed, would involve a, quote, gigantic space show. During this stage of Project Bluebeam, 3-dimensional optical holograms as well as laser projections of holographic images would beam across the sky. What would these images include? Projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, etc. will merge into one, he said. He explained the technology behind the display, saying that the conspirators would use, quote, space-based laser-generating satellites to project simultaneous images to the 4 corners of the planet in every language and dialect according to the region. Is this guy taken seriously?
By some people, yeah.
Fringe guy? I've never heard of this.
Yeah. But yeah, it just kind of goes on and talks about more of the details. But like clearly a lot of that stuff is far out there. But when I see all the alien talk and the government releasing all these documents, it almost seems like, are you planning to do something out? As crazy as it sounds, like, is there some plan to fake aliens or somehow? I don't know, but it just, to me, there's something nefarious going on with all these releases.
With them, yeah, like why would the government care about giving us any truth on anything? Look at this part. It says, aside from this main thrust of Project Bluebeam, other elements of the theory remain noteworthy, especially for conspiracy theorists. For example, one component includes the phasing out of cash. Monast said that the plan would be executed after a financial crisis, quote, not a complete crash, he said, but enough to allow them to introduce some kind of in-between currency before they introduce their electronic cash to replace all paper or plastic money.
Nut. Being facetious, calling him a nut. On that part, he's right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about crazy conspiracy theories. Okay, so I think any of these, the ones that you and I, or you or I, one of us might consider outlandish and absurd, will often include some nuggets of truth or things that you can see happening around you to lend it credibility. The same way that some of these cult-like, um, uh, what would you call them? These self-help gurus and stuff will sell you their snake oil with nuggets of truth and good advice, like, mixed in with it.
Yeah, like a cult leader. Yeah.
Right. So, just because he says something that sounds like, well, that sounds like he's on the money about cryptocurrencies, doesn't mean the rest of it is true. I mean,
Mhm.
isn't that's kind of obvious, right?
But I also think like government would have people in it that would actually try to plan something like that. Not that I think that kind of stuff would get far, because when you read about stuff like the Man Who Stared at Goats, remember that movie that came out, George Clooney,
Mhm.
about the government, having trying to train people to be remote viewers and telekinesis and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like, government did try to do stuff like that. I don't think they're successful, but I don't put it past them, especially when you factor in that they brought in a bunch of Nazis, Operation Paperclip, and not just the Nazis. They brought in some of the Japanese scientists from, Unit 731, and that did horrible things. But they took that research and those people, brought them into the government, and I have no doubt that there have been people within the government that have really thought of some crazy things and have actually written
Horrible
papers
things,
on it. Doesn't
right?
mean the stuff actually worked, but I don't doubt that somebody thought about it.
Yeah. You know that expression? I think it was, oh man, who was it that said, "Never let a tragedy go to waste"?
Rahm Emanuel, I think it was.
Rahm Emanuel. You're right. I think they probably also have that idea about crazy, Nazi scientists and stuff, never let a psychopath that you have under your control go to waste. Like, let's use him, they just put him to
Hmm.
work behind the scenes. Come up with some
Yep.
ideas for us.
Yep. Which ties into the Indiana Jones movie. So,
It does?
yeah.
Okay, what's this alien oh no, what's this
Oh,
Joe
this is
Biden
I just mocked this up because I want you to. This proves that Joe Biden's an alien. Show this, please.
You did this?
Yeah, I just put the pictures together, but it's not showing on screen.
Okay, I've got it. It's right
No.
here. I just was laughing privately. You made this?
Look, this is the alien from Fire in the Sky, that 90s movie. It scared the crap out of me as a kid. But tell me that's not the same person.
It does kind of look like him.
Got beady little eyes. Look at him.
If the nose were to recede, yeah, the mouth is similar, the skin. Yeah, pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you for that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't know. Should we do a poll about aliens?
Sure.
We're gonna try one, guys. Let's see. And then you tell me, do you want to talk more about this one or you want to move on to another crazy one? We're about an
Well, I'm
hour
done with the
in.
alien stuff.
You are? Okay,
Yeah, so you can close
what's
up
the
that.
next one?
I was going to talk about time travel.
Okay. I'm just doing a
What
basic
is your
poll.
what are you going to put in that poll?
Oh, just do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials and UFOs or not?
Hmm.
I'm curious about that first. Then I want to ask about why do you believe the government is now telling us? What could be the possible reasons why the government's now telling us or okay with people telling us that there are UFOs? Okay, I'm bringing up your time travel one.
Okay.
Now, time travel is not one that I believe in.
This ties in again with Indiana Jones. Wow, this is crazy.
Can you read this one?
What we know about the CIA's alleged secret time travel program. So this goes on, say, in October of 1943, an alleged experiment took place at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard to open the proverbial door to time travel. According to the legend, the USS Eldridge, a cannon-class battleship used primarily to hunt and destroy enemy submarines, left our timeline an experiment in invisibility gone wrong, per USS Slater, part of a CIA research project known as Project Rainbow.
Oh, funny.
Rainbow. It can mean a lot of things today.
Yes.
Probably still is. Still something going on there.
Hey, can I leave you for like 3 minutes? I have to leave for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you this. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. Project Rainbow. I'm guessing that is a project where the government makes men's genitalia disappear. Just a thought. Let's see. So I'm going to keep reading while she's gone. Part of a CIA research project known as Project Rainbow, the alleged incident with the USS Eldridge at the Philadelphia Naval Yard has become unofficially known as the Philadelphia Experiment, per The Guardian. In an effort to put an end to World War II, the story says that the U.S. military began experimenting with ways to end the dragging World War in the quickest, most efficient manner. One of the ideas floating around was the idea of cloaking, or making invisible to radar battleships using a device known as a time zero generator. The military attempted to do just that, per The Guardian. What allegedly happened, however, was completely unexpected. What did happen? I'm going to pull this up on my own computer since I can't control Keri's computer. Let's see here. And then we're going to keep going. So it goes, see, there we go. On October 28th, 1943, the switch was allegedly thrown on the time zero generator. Eyewitnesses claim to have seen the USS Eldridge suddenly begin to glow in a green-blue haze that surrounded the vessel. The Eldridge began to fade, leaving just the outline of the ship remaining. Oh, there you are. And with that, the ship blinked out of existence, according to The Guardian. Time slowly trickled by. No one knew exactly what happened to the ship or where it went. After a long 20 minutes, the Eldridge reappeared, but with horrifying results. Much of the vessel was on fire. Members of the crew who allegedly left our reality along the ship were found insane. And those were the lucky ones. Reports swirled that many crew members of the Eldridge had fused with the ship upon its return to our reality. Torsos, limbs, and other miscellaneous body parts were found amalgamated into the ship's steel hull. And then this kind of goes on, talk a little bit more about the details of that. But this was a pretty big one. I think they had a movie on this in the 80s called The Philadelphia Experiment.
That's what it was about?
Yeah.
That movie?
Yeah. I've never
Really?
seen it, but yeah.
Does anybody in the chat know about this? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, they do.
Philadelphia Experiment. Oh, I'm thinking of the Philadelphia Story with Keri.
No,
Katharine
Tom.
Hepburn.
Oh, or just, I thought you were going to say Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. I'm like, no, Keri, that's no.
No. The Philadelphia Story is a romantic comedy with Katharine Hepburn. It's not
There's
about
a lot of movies with Philadelphia in the title. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. No, I haven't heard about this though. I don't put any stock in any of this. I think this is one of the crazier ones.
What, Keri? No.
What? Yeah. I don't think we're that advanced to have cracked time travel, and I actually don't think it's possible.
Again, I don't doubt that the government is trying to actually make a ship like invisible to radar and all that, but I don't believe like it actually phased through time or whatever.
There's somebody here who's saying, "Oh, Kevin, hey Kevin, Mr. Chris, Kevin is saying that the movie was the basis of the theories, not the other way around."
Oh, really? I thought the theory existed before the movie.
I don't know. That's a pretty gnarly one though. Okay. What's this YouTube one about time travel?
Oh, so this guy Andrew Basaggio, I think his name is. So I watched this. I just want to show you a little bit of this. So this guy claims to have traveled not only through time, but also traveled to Mars with Barack Obama.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh automatically.
But I just want I just play a little bit of this because I just want you to get a sense of how well knowledgeable he is.
Okay.
And to see, do you think this adds to his credibility at all?
At the beginning? Play the beginning?
You can just skip to any time. I mean, it's 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours, but yeah.
Involvement in 2 secret defense projects. The first being DARPA's Project Pegasus, which was the U.S. time-space program at the time of the emergence of time travel in the early 1970s, which I participated in as one of the child participants. And then during my college years at UCLA, I was recalled by the government into a second secret defense project, that being the CIA's Mars Jump Room program. And for the last several years, I've been networking with other whistleblowers regarding that second program. In the case of Project Pegasus, many of the principals are either very aged or are deceased. But in the case of the Mars Jump Room program, we've identified 17 Americans who were involved, including our current president. And so working with some of my fellow chrononauts who were project participants in the Jump Room program, namely William B. Stillings and Bernard Mendez, who was the defense investigator of the project itself, we've spent now the better part of 2010, 11,
yeah, just want to play a little bit of that. But like, if you listen to the whole thing, he's like, thought this, like, he knows like, there's so many details to this story that you think, like, even though I don't believe it, I'm still like, how did he think about all these things? And he can just rattle them off without like thinking. It just comes out.
He sounds very confident, like he knows what he's talking about. Is that what you mean? Like his affect is, you would say if this guy were talking about something else and not something like time travel, but if he were telling you maybe how to do your taxes, you would believe him.
Well, yeah, not just like the way he talks, but even like the details of what he's saying. Like he thought this out, like, and you start to think like, not that I actually believe he traveled through time, but did the government experiment on him the way they experiment on Ted Kaczynski or something? Like I don't know. It's really weird.
Maybe they did some type of experiment on this guy, but I don't believe he went to Mars.
No.
Maybe he did. I think that there are people who can, I mean, a lot of sociopaths can come off as knowledgeable, competent, charming. Ted Bundy's an example. People give a lot of a sociopath who also killed, but came off as very knowledgeable and so I'm not saying this guy has a personality disorder or anything. I'm just saying people can present one way and be totally different. So I don't know. Or he could actually believe this himself.
I don't know. You're just gonna have to watch the whole 2.5 hours, Keri.
Who is she? The interviewer?
Yeah, the interviewer.
Does she buy it?
I don't know. I mean, I think so. I think it's the type of channel that hosts these type of conversations. So,
but look at the production value here, though, for the interview. He's in front of one of these cheap blinds that's drawn, which I know gives it the feeling that it's, psychologically like, oh, he's telling us something. He's in a dark room with the blinds drawn. He's telling us something like whistleblowing that's supposed to say secret. But on the other hand, I would think you would put a little more, you would have the resources to put into, what it looks like to the viewer. It look a little more professional than this.
So he couldn't go back in time or the future and get some money and
get some better blinds.
Those are those living at a motel, Keri. Come
on. No, just a few minutes of that guy, and I don't think I could listen to that whole thing. God bless you for doing so.
But this next one is an Inside Edition clip. This one is about an alleged time traveler at a Mike Tyson fight.
I've never heard of this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot. I have another link that talks about all of these photographs of alleged time travelers.
Is there something out of place in this video? Look closely. It's a Mike Tyson fight from 1995, 21 years ago. And what's that guy in the crowd holding? Could that be a smartphone?
Okay, that's weird.
We're used to a sea of smartphones recording historic events like the Pope's visit to America. But back in 1995, the internet is going wild with headlines like, "Did time traveler film Tyson fight?" We've seen this before. Check out this Charlie Chaplin movie premiere from 1928. Is that a woman walking with a cell phone?
It is.
Again. And there's this footage.
She's talking to a potato.
38. It sure seems as if she's talking on a cell phone.
No.
Back to the 95 Tyson fight. Well, we may have solved the mystery. We did some digging and found out the device in the video is not a smartphone at all. It's an early version of a camcorder called the Dicam Logitech.
Why is it human beings are so much more willing to think up an idea like, well, they must have gone back in time with a smartphone, as opposed to
Yes.
saying,
This is cool.
I wonder what camcorders look like in 1995.
Because it's
So
cool.
for the time being,
And because there's that part of you that starts to get excited.
Yeah.
Like, just then when you show that to me, I started to get excited, like, "Oh, what if this changes everything?" Why is Dan saying wow? Wow, are you saying wow because of how gullible I am, or let's see the end of this. This guy has a great point. He's
looked like in 1995.
So for the time
back in time with a human beings are so much more willing to think up an idea like, well, they must have gone back in time with a smartphone, as opposed to saying, I wonder what camcorders looked like in 1995.
So for the time being, at least, it looks like we'll have to leave time travel to the movies.
This guy's covering it up, Keri.
they're Inside Edition's covering it up.
Yeah. I don't want you to know.
Oh man, that was a good one. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I did feel that thing inside of you that then you start to be like, what if there's something I don't know?
But there's more.
But there's more.
So this one is a article with a collection of photographs of time travelers. And this first one, I can't wait till you see this first one.
Greta Thunberg. Okay, I have seen images that look like Greta Thunberg in more places. I don't know why it is. Maybe she just has a face that's very common. But did I not text you maybe a year ago from that antique shop? There was a painting, an old painting of someone that looked just like her.
I don't know. I don't remember this.
Okay, I got to go back through my photos and find that, because I took a picture of it and I sent it to someone. I thought it was you. I was like, ooh, Greta Thunberg. This is weird. This is a real photo. Number one, Greta Thunberg time travel. Greta Thunberg is a young climate activist and environmental heroine. In a 120-year-old picture, there seems to be a girl resembling her. That's where the gossip started. Could Greta Thunberg be a time traveler who traveled through time to save mankind from its uprising climate crisis? Maybe, maybe not. But the 1898 image shows a gold mine operator named Greta Thunberg. No, she's not named that. They're calling her that. Yeah. Maybe she just has, I actually think, look at her face is pretty nondescript. It's kind of, she might be one of those people who everybody knows someone who looks like her, you know.
She has a very strong gene.
No. That girl even has the braids, though.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah. Okay, the modern hipster. When you see a picture with someone with a totally different kind of clothing, it must raise the question of whether they are a time traveler. This must it? I don't know. This time travel picture has most people in hats and suits, whereas a man seems to wear sports glasses and modern clothing like a t-shirt and sweater.
Do you think this is a real photo? Like they didn't doctor it? Why is no one else wearing sunglasses?
True. How trustworthy is this website, Femora?
I don't know.
It's a photo site? Okay. World Cup 1962. If the Football World Cup 1962 is not remembered due to the game, it must be remembered due to the time travel image When the champion team was celebrating with their trophy, the picture shows that a man seems to capture the moment with his cell phone. A cell phone in 1962, that must be time travel. Where?
Yeah,
Oh. That's not a cell phone. That is not. This one's dumb. Like the thing we just saw, that's a camera. You see how it's folded out? That's one of those cameras you could fold out.
But he's filming his crotch.
No, he's not. That one's silly. A common practice of identifying a picture as time travel are through cell phones or such modern devices in age-old pictures. Here's another one. It shows a man speaking through his cell phone in a time which seems to be too advanced for the cell phone. Let's see.
I'm sure they get great reception in the past too.
They mean this guy here in the foreground? He's not.
Yeah.
He's just touching his ear.
We don't know that.
No, that one's dumb too. Yeah. Time traveler skips town. This was actually the heading of the news in a newspaper. Andrew Carlson, a self-proclaimed time traveler, was jailed for insider trading charges. He claimed to be from the year 2256. More to the amusement, he just vanished from inside the cell.
I want to look this one up, see if there's any truth to this.
Andrew Carlson. I don't know.
Kind of looks like a modern photo, though. I don't know.
It does look like a modern photo, and also, oh, look. There's a whole page on Wikipedia where some people are further explaining some of these photos and or debunking them. For example, let me stop sharing this so I can show this to you. Here. It's funny, this page has some of the same pictures. They must have gone. So that here they have the present day hipster at the 1941 bridge opening that we just looked at with the guy that appears to be wearing sunglasses and a sweater and t-shirt. It says, a photograph from 1941 of genuine authenticity of the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia, is sometimes alleged on the internet to show a time traveler. It was claimed that his clothing and sunglasses were of the present day and not of the styles worn in the 1940s, while his camera was anachronistically small. Further research suggested that the present day appearance of the man would not have necessarily been out of place in 1941. The style of sunglasses he is wearing first appeared in the 1920s. On first glance, the man is taken by many to be wearing a printed t-shirt, but on closer inspection, it seems to be a sweater with a sewn-on emblem, the kind of clothing often worn by sports teams of the period. The shirt resembles one that was used by the Montreal Maroons, an ice hockey team from that era. The remainder of his clothing would appear to have been available at the time. Those clothes are far more casual than those worn by the other individuals in the photograph. His camera is smaller than most of that era, but cameras of that size did exist. It's unclear what make his camera was. Kodak had manufactured portable cameras of equivalent size since 1938. The time-traveling hipster became a case study in viral internet phenomenon, which was presented at the Museums and the Web 2011 conference in Philadelphia.
I
What?
don't believe him.
I mean, it's look at that sweatshirt. They're not wrong. It looks like that's probably an M, and it's one of those printed on, not printed on, but one of those sewn on like sports jerseys at the time.
I can see that. His hair does look kind of 40s-ish.
Yeah, he's just a trendsetter, okay? You know what I mean?
What if he was the first hipster though? Like, what is this where he's Agent Zero, Patient Zero?
You know, I'm just thinking of a lot of photos that have been taken of me, and some people think I dress weird. I get a lot of crap on this channel for wearing hats and stuff. What if 100, 200 years from now, people are looking at a picture and they're like, she must have time traveled. Nobody else is dressed like that.
That'd be cool. Wouldn't you want that, Keri?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, sure. I think that. Yeah, this guy he's just going by the beat of his own drum. Okay. Let's see. A beatnik, somebody says. Should I go through more of those photos or let's move on? Let's move on because we're at 9:26.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause this is a very short clip from Sunday Cool where they're discussing a conspiracy theory regarding Barron Trump traveling through time, Donald Trump's son.
What? This is on YouTube Shorts, so I haven't really figured it out yet. I think I've got it here. How to do these. Okay, let's go.
Theory that the Trumps are time travelers.
Grab me a DeLorean.
This connects to Nikola Tesla.
No way.
Nikola Tesla died, and within his hotel that he had 80 plus trunks of all his patents, his designs for different technologies, all this stuff. Guess who they sent first to go and collect the stuff?
I don't know.
John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle.
What?
Weird.
So the theory is that he took some of these trunks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But Tesla said that he had figured out how to bend time. So
As one does.
the theory is Donald Trump's uncle took this, created a time machine.
Oh my gosh.
And then the weird connection is there was a book that came out in 1896, and it's called Barron Trump's Marvel Time Journey. Do you know what the book was about?
What?
Time travel?
Barron Trump time traveling.
No.
What channel was that?
What was it, Sunday Cool? I think that's the name of the channel.
That's pretty funny. Is that a real book?
Yeah. I want it. It's probably real expensive though.
That's great. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's doing any time traveling. Not in on it. Okay. What about, do we have time to cover mind control and the Tartarian Empire?
Yeah, just bring up this first mind control one real quick. It's short. This is a article about the Montauk Project, which is what Stranger Things is based on. Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is a spyscape.com article. It's called Camp Hero, Secrets of the Creepy Montauk Laboratory That Inspired Stranger Things.
I would just read like the first 3 paragraphs or so.
Okay. The spine-chilling Hawkins National Laboratory from Netflix's Stranger Things is inspired by the creepy real-life Camp Hero military base set on the craggy tip of Montauk in Long Island, New York. Preston Nichols, author of The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, written in 1992, fueled conspiracy theories about Camp Hero when he wrote about supposed time travel and kidnapped children who endured mind-altering experiments during the Cold War. Yikes, but even if Nichols' book is wrong, something unsettling does appear to have unfolded at the now abandoned base. So what's fact and what's fiction? Here are 5 things you should know about the stranger-than-life Camp Hero and the Montauk Project conspiracy theory. So number 1, the Camp Hero experiments. Montauk Project conspiracy theory followers believe that the U.S. government conducted a series of projects at Camp Hero to develop psychological warfare techniques and research paranormal activity, time travel, mind control, and contact with extraterrestrial life. Christopher Garetano, the New Yorker behind the 2014 documentary Montauk Chronicles, oh, that sounds like a good one to watch, investigated allegations brought by 3 men who claimed they were brainwashed and forced to take part in experiments at Camp Hero in the 1970s and 1980s. Garetano also employed a geophysicist to analyze the ground underneath the old base and found evidence of large structures not recorded on official maps. Quote, "Forget all the alien and MK Ultra crap," Garetano told the New York Post. "I think there was some type of experimentation out there using kids or teenagers, maybe runaways from New York." Here is, I guess, the old abandoned Camp Heroes radio tower.
Yeah, you can stop there, but
Okay.
isn't that interesting?
Well, yeah, I want to go watch that documentary now. This is the kind of conspiracy theory I can get behind.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, I have no doubt that the government would do these type of things. The question was, is Garetano and the other people alleged to be in this program, were they actually in the program? I don't know, but again, I do think government did try to do these crazy things.
Oh, yeah. If it's a conspiracy theory about the government doing something in secret, that developing something that could potentially harm people or harming, like, I can believe that. It's like, that's not that much of a stretch from what we already know, you know? Like, yeah, sure. Okay, I'm definitely watching that documentary. What's the next one in this category?
That was all I had for. It's just also the other articles also just relate to the Montauk Project. You don't have to pull those up, but if you want to bring up your article, we can talk about that.
Sure. Oh, you have other stuff there about the Montauk Project?
Yeah, the other two are the same. Yeah, they talk about Montauk Project. So
Let me just pull up this one of yours
okay.
real quick. This one is called, and I know it has the Montauk thing in here, I guess. 12 conspiracy theories that actually turned out to be true. This is from Reader's Digest. December of 2022. Quote, they say the truth is stranger than fiction. That's no lie. All of these so-called conspiracy theories turned out to be legit. So, oh, these are all videos?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see. The Dead Baby Project? What? Laughing at crazy conspiracy theories is good fun until they turn out to be true. Take the conspiracy surrounding the, quote, Project Sunshine, for example. In the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the U.S. government commenced a major study to measure the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. The conspiracy was that the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. The truth, the government was stealing parts of dead bodies because they needed young tissue. They recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children and then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of more than 1,500 grieving families. Wow.
Man, our government's awesome.
That sucks.
I know.
Some ways.
So dark. Like,
They
jeez.
suck. Here's one, bad booze. The conspiracy was that during Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. The truth, crazy conspiracy theories almost always suggest the government is behind it all, and they are almost always right.
Ding, ding, ding.
And they were right again. Manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. But between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers, but by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze.
So let me ask you, do you think they do this for drugs now?
Like the government says, lace it with stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
If they would do it with booze,
Why not?
why wouldn't they? The first lady who ran the country conspiracy, a stroke rendered President Woodrow Wilson incapable of governing, and his wife surreptitiously stepped in. Look at those hats. The truth, Wilson did suffer a debilitating stroke towards the end of his presidency, but the government felt it was in the country's best interest to keep things quiet. The public didn't learn about the stroke for months, during which time his wife, Edith Wilson, was making most executive decisions. The only difference today is they wouldn't let the wife do it. They'd be like, keep it quiet that Biden is no longer functional, but they would, the people who are already running things would still be running things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some kind of committee running Biden.
Right. Despite Mrs. Wilson claiming that she acted only as a steward, historians who have analyzed the Wilson term in office confirm that for well over a year, Miss Wilson was effectively president. Wow. Government mind control. Conspiracy. The CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs on Americans in a top secret experiment on behavior modification. The truth. Yes, the program was known as MK Ultra, and it was real. The CIA started by using volunteers. The novelist Ken Casey was one notable subject, but the program had soon began dosing people without their knowledge. MK Ultra left many victims permanently mentally disabled. And then they have another link there. The Dalai Lama's impressive salary. conspiracy. The Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. I only recently heard this conspiracy theory.
I hadn't heard it before this article.
I only heard it when he got caught saying that gross stuff to that kid.
Oh, right.
Ugh. And then in
that makes sense why they recruit him.
Yeah. The Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. The truth, perhaps the reason the Dalai Lama is smiling in all these photos has something to do with the six-figure salary he pulled down from the U.S. government during the 1960s. According to declassified intelligence documents, he earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year. The idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure. The CIA
everywhere.
John Lennon was under government surveillance. Oh yeah, he was. We know that. Duh. The government spying on you. Yeah, of course.
Come on.
Of course, the government spying.
Did you know the government spying on us?
Big tobacco news cigarettes cause cancer. Yes, of course. We know that. Duh. What's this one?
Gulf of Tonkin.
The Gulf of Tonkin.
You know that.
Yeah. There's an alien evidence. Yeah, we covered that. There are.
I like this one. Read this one.
Canada tried to develop gaydar.
I love it.
It's like some context that you put in. The Canadian government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a gaydar machine. Truth, it really happened. In the 1960s, the government of Canada hired a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. Mike Harlow, our friend Mike Harlow has he has a test. His test is you just ask someone, clang, 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 goes the, and see if they answer.
But I know the answer.
Oh, no.
Wow, I guess it's time for me to face the music. I am liberated. Yes.
Who is Betty Davis? Okay. In the 1960s, the government hired a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. He came up with a machine that measured pupil dilation in response to same-sex erotic imagery. The Canadian government used it to exclude or fire more than 400 men from civil service, the military, and the Mounties. Wow. Oh, the Illuminati.
They just have a machine that detects if you're not gay now for the military.
Yeah. They kick you out if you're not.
We don't want you. Ugh.
The Illuminati and the U.S. government conspiracy, a secret society that rules the world. The Illuminati and the U.S. National Security Agency are in cahoots. The truth, we're here to tell you that a link does, in fact, exist. Of course, that link is actually a hyperlink, i.e. an electronic link between two internet sites. If you type Illuminati backwards into a web browser, you will land on the NSA website. What? Click this link if you dare.
Don't do it.
Rumor has it this elite society includes tons of famous personalities, actors, actresses, and performers. Meanwhile, the royal families in a league of their own, since there are 18 insane conspiracy theories about them. Yeah, I mean, I don't care what you call them, if you call them the Illuminati or not. In fact, I guess I'd rather you don't call them that, because that makes you sound crazy. But
yeah, I don't like that.
But are the elite all in, a lot of them in cahoots, and do they all have really disgusting blackmail material on one another? Sure.
Yeah, I don't doubt that a lot of them are into like weird rituals and stuff. I mean, look at Epstein's Island. You remember pictures of his island where he had that weird temple thing on top of a hill, and it was like a secret elevator that goes down. That's where the kids were being abused. Like, I don't doubt they're into some weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't know if it's quite like what's that movie with Tom Cruise? I'm blanking on that Kubrick did.
Oh, Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like exactly like that, but again, I don't doubt that there's some really weird stuff they do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Sometimes people get hung up on the names or the labels of these things, like, you know, Illuminati or even deep state, for example. There's no deep state. And I'm like, I don't care what you call it. It just means it's like the unelected people in government who stay there, even when there's turnover, and, you know, in 3-letter agencies, and then the agencies we don't know about.
Yep.
But okay, we have time to cover. This is one I was not aware of until recently. So, and you were not aware of this either, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia article first. And maybe we can look at some pictures after this. Okay. Maybe this should be our next poll. By the way, let's look at the poll results. Do you believe in the existence of aliens and UFOs? 57% of the deprogrammed audience tonight says yes. 43% say no. I'm very proud of this poll. I like how evenly split it is. You know, that's pretty cool. I think.
Next question should be, are you an alien?
Are you yourself? Here, let me make this one. Wait. I'm going to make one more. Oh, I guess I can't do another poll. You can only do one? Is that true?
No, you should be able to do multiple ones.
End poll. Oh, I have to end it.
Oh,
okay. I'm learning things tonight. Were you aware of the Tartarian conspiracy theory?
Sounds like something that should be like the basis of the next Ghostbuster film. I bet Dan Aykroyd is familiar with this.
You think so?
Yeah, he's into like paranormal stuff, aliens and ghosts. I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
I don't know.
Harold Ramis did
well, if he is,
stuff.
yeah, then he's definitely heard of this one. So, so some people are already saying yes, they were aware of this. Were you aware of the Tartarian conspiracy theory? And by the way, if you were aware of it and I'm mispronouncing it, let me know. So I was not aware until recently. I came across a meme and I tried to go back and find it because it was maybe a month ago or so. Somebody on Facebook, I'm, connected to lots of different people on Facebook. They're called friends on Facebook. They're called followers on Twitter, whatever. A lot of people I don't know end up in that list. So, I mean, I see all kinds of stuff, which is cool. Somebody I follow or I'm friends with on Facebook had shared a meme of, it was about cathedrals and something I had noticed and I've talked about and wrote about when I was in Europe last year is just how amazing these cathedrals are and how generations pass. Like they would spend generations building these things. And, you would start as, when you started the cathedral, knowing you wouldn't live long enough to see it completed because you would be working on just the foundation, and then maybe your kids are working on the next part and then next part, and it takes hundreds of years, right? So someone had shared something about cathedrals, except they were basically saying that it was impossible, that they were sort of posting it with the message like, yeah, right. This was done with horses and wheelbarrows. and so then they linked to something in the comments because people started arguing with them. And then they linked to something and that led me to this. And I had never heard of this. Oh yeah. Tree Surgeon says, so you've heard of it, says Tartarus is dumb. I'm sorry I try to be open-minded about this stuff, but they lose me with this one. Okay, so we already know where you stand. I don't know. I'm still reading about it. The jury's at Culture Casino. Thank you for the super chat. Sweet gentleman. He says, where's comics when you need him? He's into woo-woo.
We'll have to do part 2.
We should
plenty
do
of conspiracies out there.
Let's do a part 2 and bring back a variety of people like
yeah,
comics and culture and whoever wants to come, because I'd like to hear different people's opinions on some of this. Sometimes you can be like, that's out there, but then if your friend believes it, you're like, well, maybe. I respect that person, right?
Okay. I have a number of friends that say they've seen UFOs.
Yeah. And I told you about my supernatural experience recently, right?
No.
Not with an alien, but with something I can't explain.
No, you didn't tell me this.
Okay, I'll tell you at the end.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
I'm so intrigued now.
Okay, Tartarian Empire, conspiracy theory. Okay, Tartaria or Tartary is a historical name for Central Asia and Siberia. And it says ignorance surrounding its use as a place name has spawned conspiracy theories. Now, again, this is Wikipedia, so this is edited by the people, and the people lately, I don't trust them on everything. Let's just say that. But anyway, has spawned conspiracy theories, including ideas of a hidden past and mud floods. Such theories assert that the Tartarian Empire was a lost civilization with advanced technology and culture. This ignores the well-documented history of Asia, which Tartary refers to. In the present day, the Tartary region covers a region spanning from central Afghanistan to northern Kazakhstan, as well as areas in present Mongolia, China, and the Russian Far East. Okay, background. It's the background of the conspiracy theory. The theory of Great Tartaria as a supposed lost land or civilization originated in Russia, with aspects first appearing in Fomenko's New Chronology and then popularized by the racial occult history of Nikolai Levashov. In Russian pseudoscience, known for its nationalism, Tartaria is presented as the real name for Russia, which was maliciously ignored in the West. The Russian Geographical Society has debunked the conspiracy theory as an extremist fantasy, and far from denying the existence of the term, has used the opportunity to share numerous maps of Tartary in its collection. Since about 2016, conspiracy theories about the supposed lost empire of Tartaria have gained popularity on the internet, divorced from its original Russian nationalist frame.
Is this where tartar sauce comes from?
Is it? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm sure.
Conspiracy theory. The globalized version of the conspiracy theory is based on an alternative view of architectural history. So yeah, they call this an architectural conspiracy theory, which I didn't know architecture had conspiracy theories, but apparently you architects have the best ones because this one's crazy. Okay. This one's, I mean, it's pretty out there, I think. So it says adherents proposed that demolished buildings such as the Singer Building and the original New York Penn Station, or the temporary grounds of the 1915's World Fair, were actually the buildings of a vast empire based in Tartary that has been suppressed from history. Now, if you go and look at these pictures of the 1915's World Fair, it's one of those things like when you're looking at that picture you showed me earlier, Mystery Chris, and you first look at it and you get that excitement in your gut because you're like, what is this? Because if you look at some of these pictures, there were these amazing buildings that they built for this World Fair that don't exist anymore. And you're like, so why did they tear them down? Okay.
That was a lot of the World's Fairs.
They
had
just
awesome
built these
buildings and they just tore them down. Yep. Chicago 33 had some great ones. Even New York 39.
They said that the official answer is that these amazing buildings were constructed from temporary materials, like plaster and burlap fiber, and that they were meant to be temporary and that they were just attractions and were pulled down. But why do that? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they didn't have TVs back then, so what else are they going to do?
Go to all that trouble. Okay, here we'll go back. Okay, so here we go. Other buildings. Okay, so it says sumptuously styled Gilded Age buildings are often held out as really having been built by the supposed Tartaria. Other buildings, such as the Great Pyramids and the White House, are further held out as Tartarian buildings. The conspiracy theory only vaguely describes how such a supposedly advanced civilization, which had reputedly achieved world peace, could have fallen and then been hidden. In the conspiracy theory, the idea that a mud flood wiped out much of the world via depopulation and thus old buildings is common, supported by the fact that many buildings across the world have architectural elements like doors, windows, and archways submerged many feet below ground level. Both World War I and II are cited as a way in which Tartaria was destroyed and hidden, reflecting the reality that the extensive bombing campaigns of World War II did destroy many historic buildings. The general evidence for the theory is that there are similar styles of buildings around the world, such as Capitol buildings with domes or star forts. Also, many photographs from the turn of the 20th century appear to show deserted city streets in many capital cities across the world. When people do start to appear in the photographs, there's a striking contrast between the horse and cart dwellers in the muddy streets and the elaborate, highly ornate stone megastructures which tower above the inhabitants of the cities, which is seen even in modern cities where extreme poverty is contrasted with skyscrapers.
I mean, this all just speaks to the inability of people to accept that human beings were able to create things of such beauty back then. It reminds me of, I don't know if you heard the story of Gene Roddenberry, who creator of Star Trek. He was at a convention once and someone started talking about the pyramids and they go, "Oh, the pyramids are built by aliens." And Gene Roddenberry just got so angry. He was like, "No, they weren't. They're built by human beings. Human beings are capable of building such fantastic structures. It's not aliens." And it always stuck with me. And it just kind of reminds me of this. Just again, people who just don't want to believe that human beings could do this. I mean, I know human beings are capable of some horrible things, but we're also capable of some beautiful, great things. And this is one of them.
I think you're right. I think it maybe comes from that because we don't, also it's because of where culture has taken us now, is that we don't value beauty as much anymore, especially in architecture. And you and I did that whole episode on architecture where modern and postmodern architecture is pretty drab and ugly, and there's not an emphasis on beauty. And so I think maybe because of where we've landed currently culturally, we look back at some of these structures and we're like, there's no way humans did this, or the humans as we know it must be an ancient civilization we've
It's
gotten
kind of
rid of.
depressing, though. I mean, people just comparing it to everything that's going on now. Like, well, people could have made beautiful music that wasn't like electronic pots and pans clanking. So
Yeah.
the future of music will be.
I just wanted, before I close this, I wanted to show you that down here some people describe the Tartarian Empire conspiracy theory as the QAnon of architecture. Come on.
They always have to throw the QAnon in there.
Yeah.
No matter what they're talking about.
Yeah. Look at this one, though. Okay. Here's an example of what I'm talking about, of some of these destroyed buildings. This was one of 4 Italian towers. And this is as it came crashing down at the end of the Panama Pacific Exposition in 1916. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's just weird to me. The only weird part of it, and this might be why people are prone to believe in it, is because you see something that looks so gorgeous that obviously took some time to construct, and you're like, why are they tearing that down at the end of the fair?
It's all commonplace back then. We're like,
You think
like
so?
now it sticks out. I mean, you look at a building like that, it's beautiful. Like, I'm obsessed with Detroit, and I've been doing a thing where I've been looking up all the old buildings, what they used to look like, and it's just amazing. Especially knowing how many of them they've torn down, and there wasn't much of a fight to save some of these beautiful buildings in Detroit. It's just kind of crazy to think about, but they existed and people built them.
It's amazing. I mean, look at this one. This was the Chicago one that was mentioned, the World's Fair, 1893, Chicago. Look at this. This building, the statue, all of it. Chicago World's Columbian Exposition. This was called the Republic statue.
I wish I could go back in time and like experience that. I do it as a white man, of course. I wouldn't do it. Black people can't go past 1975.
What? You would do it as a white man?
That's the only safe way.
Yeah,
safe way to time travel.
probably. But okay, look at this beautiful the Statue of the Republic. It was 24 feet high, a gilded bronze sculpture in Jackson Park, Chicago. It was made for the World Fair of 1893. Okay, so something beautiful and massive that was crafted, right? The colossal original statue, which was the centerpiece of the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893, was ordered afterwards to be destroyed by fire. Why? I just don't get it. Can somebody help me?
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I don't understand the thinking there. Okay, well, you can read more about the Tartarian Empire if you want. Let me know what you think about it. Let us know in the chat. If you're watching this episode later, leave a comment. Comments help out our algorithm. Absolutely. They help the videos be recommended to more people. So leave a comment and let us know what you think. I'll still be reading about the Tartarian Empire. I don't know what I think yet, so tell me what you think about in the chat. Tell me if you think I'm severely gullible. I've been told that before. I've also
You
been
want to
told
believe.
I do want to believe, but I've also been told I'm very skeptical, so I don't know. I think it depends on the person. Bungalow Logic says that's not correct. The fairgrounds were all destroyed by fire at the conclusion. Oh, I know. They were destroyed by fire, but that one they said was ordered to be destroyed by fire. Why? I don't know. Okay, well, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Mystery Chris.
We're gonna say funny stuff for another time.
Should we? Oh, do we have time?
What
do you have?
This we're not gonna watch all of the stuff I put in there.
Okay.
Let's see what's the quickest. Do you want to watch what the 2 Alex Jones ones? They're very short. They're like just several seconds long.
Are these Alex Jones conspiracy theories?
Oh no, these are just like Alex Jones memes, like video memes, I guess. People
Okay.
who just edited them into stuff.
Let's see.
This first one is
Alex.
reminiscent of Sega Genesis.
You gotta have the will to accept the truth and buck the system and the group collective. Do that, and you'll earn your way to the next level. Just the info water.
I love this so much. I want to play this game.
Why?
Play that game. It's awesome.
Oh, because it looks like a.
Yeah, it's like a Sega CD game. He's like introducing you to the mission. It's great.
I think it's.
And this is another one they inserted him in a game.
Is it funny to you how much some people hate him? I mean,
I don't get it. Like, I understand, like, people don't like the Sandy Hook comments and stuff. I get that. But yeah, it is weird how much hate he gets. Like, all the people who were cheering on the fact that he got fined like $1 billion, whatever, in that court case. And yet, you know, people that we know for certain were hanging out in Jeffrey Epstein's island. No one cares about them.
No one cares.
Bill Gates is on the island. No one cares.
No one cares. And what's
but
his
him,
name?
yeah, we got to tear him down. I'm like, come on.
I was just
like
saying,
guy or whatever.
It's so tribal. They don't care about, you know, Joe Biden's daughter's diary, which she talks about being uncomfortable taking showers with her dad. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But we just sort of like, because collectively we've decided, I don't mean us watching this show, I'm just saying the powers that be, the media, whatever, doesn't care. It just, you know, there's no ire about that.
Yeah, they tell people what to be upset about.
They hate this guy. They hate him. It's crazy. Okay.
Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, coward. No. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
I want to play that game.
I know.
That one looks fun. That one looks fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Culture Casino, thank you for the super chat, sir. Hanging out with us. $1.99. He says, I like beef tartar, but maybe a little more cooked. I like the pun. I see what you did there. Tartar butt, maybe a little more beef tartar. I love it. Thank you.
You want to bring up the tattoo? That's the last thing to bring up.
Yeah, so this is the game we play at the end of Pop Culture, where we just try and see if people have a tattoo of some of the things we talked about. And it looks like tonight you've bookmarked one of the biggest so-called conspiracy theorists, Alex Jones, to see if anybody has a tattoo of Alex Jones. And lo and behold,
survey says
yes. Look at this. New World Order. It's a tattoo of Alex Jones, and then on his face it's tattooed globalists, gay frogs. Do you think this person? Oh, he's wearing a tinfoil hat. Do you think?
Yeah, I can't tell if this person's like making fun of him or they're actually a fan, because it seems like they're making fun of him. But why would they get a whole detailed tattoo of Alex Jones on their body for someone they hate?
Because these people live by their hate. Remember, we saw some people who hate Donald Trump had Donald Trump tattoos.
That's true.
I think this person doesn't like Alex Jones because it says crazy Alex Jones tattoo. Like they call him crazy.
That's just so weird to me. That I mean, getting tattoos of things you hate is just so much more weird to me than things you like, no matter how
Yeah.
crazy that thing you like is.
So whoever got this thinks Alex Jones is crazy, but it's not crazy to get this tattoo.
The irony is lost on them.
It's weird. Okay. Thank you. That's crazy. I wonder who that guy is. We could interview the guy who got the Alex Jones tattoo.
That would be interesting. We interview people who got these weird tattoos. Why
Ryan,
they got it?
Yeah, why did you do
Right.
it? Ryan says, I think they're making fun of him. Keri's right. People live by their hate. They do. Some people are, that's their whole identity is who they hate, you know?
It's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you explain that to a significant other? Like, if you're dating someone and they see a tattoo of Alex Jones on your thigh, like, what are you going to say? Like, that's just.
At that point, if you're the kind of lunatic who hates someone enough to get a tattoo of them, you probably talk about that person all the time. So they wouldn't have to explain it to their date because the whole date would be about Alex Jones. You know, like they'd probably never shut up about it, how much you hate him.
It's probably on their like dating profile too. They're probably so proud of it. They take pictures of it, put it on the profile.
Yes. Mark in the chat with the conspiracy theory, there's a rumor Mr. Chris has an Alex Jones tattoo.
Oh no. I have several, okay? I just love the man so much.
Thank you. That was fun. Thank you for pulling all that together.
Yeah.
Mr. Chris, you guys,
You're
if
a
you
believer.
like, I want to believe. If you are a fan of the show, if you like the Wednesday night shows, leave us a comment below. And you can also share the video. Make sure you hit subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you want to support the show financially, there's various ways to do that on different platforms like Locals and Patreon, Subscribestar, or here at YouTube. I think that's it. Jamie says, take care. Always enjoy your live streams. Well, we enjoy hanging out with you, and Wednesday nights are fun. So glad you guys came. Again, I won't be here on Friday because we have to go pick up our van in Colorado. And won't be able to do a live show that morning. But Monday at our regular time, 12 o'clock Central, I'm going to be talking to Kenny Xu about the recent affirmative action decision in the Supreme Court and what his organization is working on next and about his forthcoming book. And that should be cool. So check it out and have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Is that roll the video? Okay.
And cut.
This always happens. I don't have it queued up. Here we go. Bye, guys. For real.